Where do you see the future of PC game collecting, given the rapid change in hardware? Doesn't bode well.
No, it's tough. I see people who collect PC games, and they are dedicated. They have multiple computer setups for various things. I know people like that. You know, they have a 486, they have an Apple II, they have a
XT laying around.
Yeah, you know, they have various setups for various games. It's cool, actually. It's something that I kind of admire because I love old PC gaming.
I need an XT still.
But at some point, floppy disks, and as a fan of the Apple IIe, it worries me. Floppy disks at some point are going to just stop working, and we're just not going to have them anymore.
There's a limited supply. I don't think anyone's making new 5 1/4s.
Well, no, and I'm talking about the data contained on them.
Well, you can always back that up. I mean, all the stuff is backed up.
Sure, but still, then what do you need to do? Then you need to pull it off the. I mean, like Apple II games, you run them off the floppy. So at some point, you lose your ability to play this stuff. I think the future of PC game collecting, and I don't. This is not my cup of tea, but I could see a large, well, not large. I could see a subset of collectors who get, and I know they exist already, but who get into big box PC games. Why? Mm-hmm. Because big box PC game boxes are gorgeous. They have lots of art on them. They are generally well constructed. They come with big manuals. I mean, some of the thickest manuals you will ever see in games are in big box stuff. So I almost feel like at some point this will be stuff that people collect because they want to own it, not necessarily play it.
Sure. I took this question totally differently from you, actually. I thought he was referring to games now, PC games now, if they're going to be collectible.
Oh, okay.
And the short answer is no, they're not. And I'd say PC collecting eventually, I think, is going to be stopping in the early 2000s. Because that's the point where every game you bought had an individualized serial number put inside.
Yeah.
So even when I go to the swap meet now, I try to tell the vendors, and I tell people looking, people are selling, I guess when they transition to the small box, late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of those are worthless because you're not buying them for the data, which you can download from the website now. Like, for example, Unreal Tournament 2004, you can download the entire game off the site, but you still need an original serial number. At least you did like 6-7 years ago when I was still playing competitively. But the serial number is used. So
right.
In the future, when you're buying games the past 5, 10, 15 years, what are you buying?
Right. Well, and I have to get into this with people all the time because people always come in, they're like, you sell used PC games? I get this question every day. And most of the time I'm just like, no, but, you know, one of them will be like, oh, why not? And I'm like, what am I... And I say that almost exactly what you said. What am I supposed to sell you? I said, used PC games that had physical copies either had serial numbers, for the most part, or you need a manual that could often be lost that had a weird form of copy protection where you need to find paragraph 3 on page 56 and go 3 words in.
But those, you can at least find the information for those.
Sure, but it's a cumbersome hobby.
But now all the used game sales are on, GOG or Steam or something else.
Not used, but old game sales. Yeah, would be.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's the new way you're going to play these games in the future. You're going to have some people that are going to be nuts and have 5 different types of computers, but by and large, they'll emulate it all on a DOS box, or they'll have an Apple II emulator in the future, and you'll play it all on that, and that's the way you're gonna play them. But like you said, if you want to buy the old one, I have old Apple II games. They're gorgeous. I have Ultima 1 out there. You know, like they're cool to have all the extra feelies and stuff.
If you've got the room, I mean, they look nice. I mean, they look nice. They're cool to have. It's one of the few things where like I could see people owning just to own it in a collection. At least that would make sense to me. And it's nice that there are some indie developers out there who do push and make physical editions for people who ask for them. You know, usually limited, but that's not everyone, and that's select developers. You know, the big developers are going to go to all digital at some point, if they already haven't. Like I'm sitting here thinking, did Arkham Knight get a physical release for the PC, or was it just download on Steam? I don't know.
I gotta go into a Comp USA if there's any still existing.